One tennis player is an award-winning bathroom singer, and another is such a good dancer that he could give Michael Jackson a run for his money if he wanted to. Let's have a look at some of the most popular tennis players and their hidden talents. Novak Djokovic. No one is as talented as Novak Djokovic, because this guy doesn't just shake things up on the tennis court. It turns out that the Serbian tennis star has a few tricks up his sleeve when it comes to shaking what his mama gave him. That's right, the Serbian superstar has some killer moves on the dance floor. You see, when you grow up in Serbia like Djokovic did, there's every chance that you'll fall in love with dancing, as dancing is a big part of Serbian culture. And that's why it's no surprise that the Serbian caught the dance flu, which he's never afraid to show off to the world. Just take a look at this. That was Djokovic showing off the traditional Serbian dance, the Kolo dance, after winning the 2019 Australian Open. But it was on the Ellen show that Djokovic really got to show the world he can shake what his mama gave him. You know what they say, if you can't beat him on the court, challenge him to a dance-off. And that's exactly what Ellen DeGeneres did when Djokovic appeared on her show. This was back in 2016. Popular TV host and comedian Ellen DeGeneres challenged Djokovic to a dance-off, and the rest is history. When she challenged Djokovic to a dance-off, she probably thought she had this thing in the bag. I mean, after all, she is a professional entertainer. But little did she know Djokovic was about to blow her mind, and our minds, with his dance moves. Djokovic showed off his best moves, including this impression of Maria Sharapova's on-court grunting, which was surprisingly accurate. It was like watching a Serbian Michael Jackson in action. And Ellen? She didn't even stand a chance. So let's just say, if you ever find yourself in a dance battle with Novak Djokovic, just bow out gracefully, because you're not going to win. But at least you'll get to witness some amazing moves and have a good laugh. Speaking of laughs, Andre Agassi's hidden talent will literally kill you with laughter. Everyone knows Andre Agassi is one of the biggest tennis legends out there. I mean, we're talking about a man with 8 Grand Slam single titles, 17 ATP Masters, and 33 ATP Tours to his name. Now, if you don't think that's impressive, I don't know what is. This guy is even married to one of the best female tennis players of all time, Steffi Graf, who is a badass at the game herself. I mean, come on, she still holds the record for the only player to have won each of the 4 Grand Slam tournaments at least 4 times. Talk about a power couple! A record-breaking wife and an incredible tennis career? That's not something you see every day. And if you think that's all there is to Andre, well, think again. Because this guy is not just a tennis pro, he's also a literary genius. You see, back in 2009, this American tennis GOAT published his autobiography. And boy, if you haven't read it, then believe me when I say, Andre is a born writer. That book was a real page-turner. Talk about a unique blend of emotional brilliance and compelling storytelling. And for someone that didn't really get a formal education, his autobiography is one of the best you'd see out there. Now, I know you're thinking, how is being a great writer hilarious? Well, it's not. But here's the real kicker. You see, back in 2017, Agassi was asked about his hidden talent in an interview with Eurosport. He said,
I can blow bubbles out of my mouth.
Say what now? He can blow bubbles out of his mouth? Does he have a secret stash of bubblegum somewhere? Now that's a pretty uncommon talent if you ask me. Well, it's a shame we never got to see Agassi in his bubble-blowing elements. It would have been epic. But you know what else is epic? Andy Murray's hidden talent. You see, back in 2017, Andy Murray was on top of the world. He was the #1 tennis player in the world, a 3-time Grand Slam champion, and a hero to many British fans. His fans were calling him the greatest British player to ever play the sport, and Murray was looking forward to continuing his legacy. And maybe put himself in the greatest of all times conversation. Then, all of a sudden, something happened that would change his life and career forever. The Brit sustained a nasty hip injury that was so bad he had to take 14 months break to fully recover. And if you know anything about sports, you know that most people that survive an injury like that never make it back to the top. During this time, Murray went through some of the darkest days of his life. The Brit was constantly in pain, misery, and one doctor even told him he'll never play tennis again. Can you imagine? That's like someone telling you that you'll never be able to eat pizza again. The horror! 14 months is a long time to sit idle and be unable to do the one thing that you enjoy doing the most. And if one is not careful, you could lose your mind. But, as they say, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And that's exactly what Murray did. So, in order to make sure his mind was as sharp as possible over that period, Murray began to do some soul-searching. And that's when he discovered that he could paint and mold. Just look at these pictures that he shared on his Instagram page. Pretty impressive, right? But that's not all. Murray also showed off his piano skills in a video where he played chopsticks like a pro. Talk about a Renaissance man. He can play tennis, paint, sculpt, and tickle the ivories? Talk about a jack of all trades. But you want to know what's even more impressive? Roger Federer's hidden talent. Roger Federer is no doubt one, if not the greatest tennis player ever. But if you think Federer was just a master of the tennis court, then think again. You see, when the Swiss is not dominating the court with his killer backhand, he's channeling his inner Ed Sheeran with his fellow backhand boys, Grigor Dimitrov and Tommy Haas. Back in 2017, these three tennis titans joined forces to form a supergroup that took the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells by storm. The trio recorded a version of Chicago's iconic tune, Hard to Say I'm Sorry, with Haas's father-in-law, the world-renowned record producer and musician David Foster, on the piano. Their cover was so good that everyone in the audience was begging for an encore. But that's not the only time Federer showed his musical talents. Back in 2020, Federer sustained a knee injury and had to have a surgery. Anyone else would have sat down on their couch, enjoyed the nice break, and watched some Netflix. Instead, Federer took up his singing mantle and lent his golden voice for a commercial for Swiss telecommunications provider Sunrise. Okay, we can stop now. Well, maybe his voice isn't that golden, but the song choice, with a little help from my friends by the Beatles, was pretty impressive. This just goes to show that Federer really does know his onions when it comes to music. The Swiss tennis superstar can also play the piano and the flute like a pro. Federer even DJ'd a party in Miami back in 2017 with renowned DJ Nora En Pure. I mean, give this guy his Grammy already! And there you have it for this part 1 of our famous tennis players and their hidden talents. Watch out for part 2 coming your way. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're at it. We'll see you in the next one.